The Congress has released its fresh list of 15 candidates selected by the Congress Central Election Committee for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. And in this, the big headline is that Sonia Gandhi will be contesting elections this time again. And from Raebareli, Rahul Gandhi from Amethi and Salman Khurshid from Farrukhabad. Meenakshi is on the phone line. Meenakshi, there was a bit of speculation whether Sonia Gandhi will be contesting election this time around or not, or whether Priyanka Gandhi will take on Raebareli, but this list has made it clear.
Well, that's right, Tanvi. There was a lot of speculation and a lot of talks doing the rounds. Will she, won't she, pertaining to UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi, and ending all speculation. And this is perhaps adding credence to Rahul Gandhi's earlier statements about how Congress is wanting to play on the front foot, especially pertaining to Uttar Pradesh. And UPA chairperson, Congress's UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi not shying away, despite all talks of ill health and other speculations. Sandy, she is very much taking the plunge and going to contest Lok Sabha from Raebareli again. This time Rahul Gandhi from Amethi, and of course this will perhaps also put some rest to the speculation for now about Priyanka Gandhi taking plunge into electoral politics. Of course, she has already become an office bearer of the Congress party with that appointment of General Secretary Uttar Pradesh East, but there was also speculation that perhaps it could be Priyanka running from Raebareli. For now, clearly that's not happening, but at the same time, Sonia Gandhi contesting Lok Sabha is a attestation or a confirmation of what Rahul Gandhi, Congress president, had said earlier, that as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, Tanvi, Congress is going to play on the front foot on this one.
All right, Meenakshi, thanks so much for bringing us this big development. Well, like I said, we have two conversations lined up for you. First up, the BJP website, the official party website, has now been down for 3 days. Some say that this was after a mischievous video and some messages popped up on the portal. BJP says the website wasn't hacked, it hasn't been hacked, that there was perhaps some technical glitch, maybe, is what the sources indicate. But the website page, if you go and log on, the last time I checked, it still said down for maintenance. Maybe the BJP website is getting overhauled for the election season. But keep in mind, it has been 3 long days now. That's a lot of time, experts will tell you, in the digital world. And the page hasn't even come back. Not even the main page, not a single page, nothing. Nothing is working on that website. Now, I'm sure you all remember a few days ago, Portal Alt News had done a story on how the cut copy machine works dangerously within the BJP IT cell, its WhatsApp groups, supporter groups, and even some ministers. Alt News actually logged into one of these Google documents, edited it, and got out without anybody realizing. This effectively led to some BJP leaders and even state unit handles tweeting wrong information, criticizing their own government, their own party. So what's happening? That's all we want to understand. If the party that is in power right now at the center and many states in our country, if the party that is known for its online skills and expertise, if the party that hard sells digital India to the entire world and openly takes on social media giants for their faults in technology, if that party cannot protect its own web page or tell us what is happening, should we be concerned at all, or is it not a concern? Let's say good evening to our panelist. Nikhil Pava, editor for Media Nama, joins us this evening. I've also got Ritesh Bhatia, cyber expert, and Abhishek Mishra, leader for the BJP. And let me first go across to Abhishek Mishra and ask him, Abhishek Mishra, so much for digital India. Does it take 3 days to revamp your website for election season?
I think, Tanvi, Mr. Amit Malviya, the IT head of BJP, has clearly mentioned there was a technical glitch. So, technical glitch does occur, and it is under maintenance. And Mr. Malviya has clearly said that if we thought there was some serious issue, we would have filed a FIR in the police. But BJP has not done that. So, our official stand by our IT head is that it's a technical glitch which has been sorted out. It's a maintenance issue which does happen in technology.
But technology you'll agree, Abhishek, technology is like that. You'll agree it is slightly embarrassing. Your party is known for its expertise when it comes to social media, digital media, internet. I mean, you are the pioneers in so many new concepts that we know today. And for your website to be down for 3 days, you can't figure out one technical glitch. You are the ones who have, as part of the government, pioneered Aadhaar for us.
No, the BJP has officially said it is a technical glitch. Now, what the technical glitch is, I am not an IT expert. So, the IT experts must be working on that. You have to understand one thing, that such issues have happened across the world. You're in countries abroad, the entire power grids have been stopped. There has been big issues. You have to understand, technology is such a thing that sometimes issues do crop up. It's after a long time. First time I think our website has had such a problem. And don't look too much into it. It's a technological matter. It's a technical glitch. We have clearly stated. We are working on it. It's a maintenance issue. I think even your website may have had some problem sometime. So it's a normal issue. I think it's been overblown by opposition as if to show that because the BJP website is down, so our whole Digital India and our whole initiative, Aadhaar initiative, those things are separate. They are very, that's a separate issue. This is a website and it will be solved. It's not a big issue. Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think you have, you can add very much, because like you said, your party line is just about that, it's a technical glitch and we are looking into it. But Ritesh Bhatia, a technical glitch, and it takes 3 days to fix it, even if there is a bug that which we've never heard of and is a new creation. How long does it take to set up just a basic new page with a couple of links to tell you how to go around the website?
See, I have been looking at the website through the archives part of it, and I don't see that, that this is like really such a very, very large site that should be taking like 3 days, maximum to maximum in an hour or two, let's say 3 hours, and this site should have been up. To me, it seems that these guys didn't have a backup. Because it's been designed in something like a Joomla, and you need a database for it, and they should be having that. But I personally feel they don't have a backup, because if they have a backup of it, it will get restored in like minutes. So something that has been taking 3 days, it definitely sets a bad impression also, because here is a party where we look at it has always been in the forefront of digital things. And so, when the National Party website is down, you really don't appreciate it. We have always been looking, we've always seen many such government websites and we being hacked and other kind of things. But those were hacking and they were like back within hours. But over here, like 3 days is too much, according to me.
Nikhil Pava, what's on your own view of what's going on here, in your expert opinion? What could have gone wrong so drastically that it's taking 3 days, or as some people are trying to tell us, that it's just because they are overhauling and revamping the website for election season? Does that make sense to you?
Well, it would make sense in the normal course if a site was down for a brief period of time. But usually what companies do is, or what entities do is, they build a site separately that's on a different server. And once the site is up and ready to go, they do a seamless switch from one to the other. So it's not down for maintenance. In fact, there's no significant sort of technical part of this site that requires maintenance as such. So I think this is not a revamp for sure. This is more likely to be something it's gotten hacked, something has gone wrong. They've either lost the entire database or whatever content there was on the site because of some reason. And so we'll have to see what happens when it comes back up. It could very likely be a hack, given the images that are going around about. I wasn't there to see the face of the site when it was down, but if it was hacked and if the content was replaced with jokes and other kinds of content, then obviously there's something serious that has happened. And I don't think, look, the BJP has got a fairly competent IT department.
Yeah.
And if they're taking this long to fix it, then they're struggling with something. I wish they were more transparent about what the problem is. But this is not a revamp.
But should we be concerned, Nikhil? Should we or some
incompetent revamp if it is like this? It would be a very incompetent revamp if it's like this.
Should we be concerned? Should people who are linked to the party, their members or their donors, whose data may be there or linked to the website, should they be concerned? Is there a larger data-related problem here?
Again, I can't speculate about that, but if that is the case, I think, look, the BJP does have a very large database of users. Remember, during the last elections, they claimed to be the largest political party in the world because of how many people had signed up for the BJP. And if the data was indeed linked to hosted or anyway accessible through this site and it's been compromised, then I think that's something for all of us to worry. All the people who actually signed up for the BJP to be worried about. Unfortunately, there is no norm of transparency or disclosures. And I mean, look, let's face it. This is a government that hasn't been very transparent with its disclosures. I don't expect a political party to be transparent either. And this goes back to the other point that because political parties today hold so much of data and that can potentially get compromised. As significant public authorities or entities, why shouldn't they be under the Right to Information Act? And why can't BJP party members or people who've signed up for them or given them their data hold them to account for the kind of data they've collected? And if it's potentially lost in this breach, then they should be accountable for it.
Correct.
I'm not saying that's happened, but they should be accountable. So.
Point taken. I understand what you're saying. Abhishek, just hold on for a second because I also have Akash Banerjee on the phone line. And Akash Banerjee is actually, he's made an interesting video where he's spoken about this. So let's understand from him why he thinks there may be a cause of concern here. Akash, we're talking about the fact that it's been 3 days now. And it was 2.5 days when you made that video. 3 days now and the website is still down. Should we be concerned?
You see, I made that video knowing fully well that we'll go past the 3-day mark also. You see, one has to understand that this is not a question about just the BJP's website. What is worrying about is that the largest, richest, most well-equipped political party's website has gone down and lies have been thrown out by saying that this is a technical maintenance or technical glitch, etc., etc. The problem is that people have been lied to. This is the BJP's website, which has the highest amount of technical backing, and yet they haven't been able to get a website back on track. That shows the depth of which this attack was, and it is brazenly, blatantly, very clearly a hack. It was an attack, and their entire metadata has been erased. And there is no question about that. The only question after that is, that have they lost control of even the database that they had? Because you see, it's very easy to set up a website again. A class 12 pass out will be able to set you up a BJP's website. That's not the problem. The problem is they've perhaps lost the entire database, which they hadn't backed up. We are talking about phone numbers, names, email addresses, maybe even payment details. That is the question that needs to be answered by Amit Malviya, because I don't appreciate the fact that the people of this country have been taken for a ride by saying this is a technical glitch and we are looking into. This would be the Guinness World Record of technical glitches where a website is down for 3 days. And we are talking about the largest and most well-backed. And they could have had government people come and help them to get the website back on. This is worrying because it can happen to any other political party. And what is more worrying is, if this is the depth of the attack, it can happen to tomorrow, your website, my website, and governmental websites. And that's what is worrying.
Yes, and governmental websites, and that's the other big worrying part. Akash Banerjee, thank you for speaking to us, and I know you're a little occupied, but thank you for putting it in perspective and how you see it. Ritesh Bhatia, you wanted to come in, and then we'll get Abhishek to respond.
Yeah, Tanvi, what I am seeing, because when I'm going through the archives of the particular website, now there are 3 sections which are capturing our data and are holding us sensitive information. One is like my BJP link, that's got our login and username and passwords and everything. Second is like make a donation, wherein you're giving all your details like your mobile number, email ID, date of birth and everything, and the payment that you're making and towards what you're making. Like it's a voluntary payment and you're making towards a party fund, towards something else. So it's holding that information also. Third is about joining, registering for the BJP, for the particular website, for getting updates. And that is asking again a lot of information, including mobile numbers, email ID, date of birth, and your other interests, brief profile about you. And all these things, and we are going into a particular database. And so is the content also in that particular database, because this is a site which is driven by content management system and everything. So if the database is hacked, I think all this sensitive information has also been leaked.
Abhishek Mishra, your response to what's been raised here?
I think I am shocked, Tanvi, that the people in a debate and the guy on the phone, Mr. Akash Banerjee, who is a satirist, are saying that data has been lost, there is a massive threat, and this has gone, and that data has gone, this detail has gone. I mean, how can you allow such speculation on national channel? When the official concerned person, Mr. Amit Malviya, the IT head, has clearly mentioned that there has been no hacking of the sort wherein we have to be anyway concerned. Initially, he said there may have been some issue, some transgression, but
So,
currently it is under our control. It's a technical glitch, and Mr. Malviya, I will repeat his
Mr.
statement
Abhishek,
officially. He said that
Mr.
we are
Mishra,
not filing any FIR with the
Okay.
police, as the site is only down to if any data was mistaken, if
Okay.
any data was stolen, or there was a major issue, as a responsible political party, you would have filed a police FIR to find out. So you have to at least trust the
But I don't know if
biggest
you would, because it's
ruling party in the
would be
country.
hugely embarrassing for you, egg on your face, if that's actually
No,
happened.
Tanvi, you have to go by the
I
official
don't-
stand. Official stand.
No,
of the
I don't have
party.
to
mean,
go by
the
anybody's
guys on the
official
panel who are
stand.
speculating the data is lost.
I
think
don't have to go by anybody's
I think
official
they are
stand. I will do my own
speculating and worthless
investigation,
speculating. I don't know.
because
I don't know
that's
why.
what journalists do. So I don't have to take anybody on their face value when they tell
Yeah,
me
good thing.
something. But
Yeah.
Abhishek Mishra, my point is this: is it
Yeah,
true
yeah,
or
please,
not
but no
that
data
there were
has been
some
lost? The data
mischievous
sector has been
videos
secure.
and memes that popped up on the website before it went down? Is that true or not? Now, are you telling me technical
No, no.
glitch leads to
Mr.
mysterious
Malviya,
memes about our Prime Minister
Tanvi,
popping up
good point, good
on the
question.
website?
Good. Yeah. Tanvi, I'll tell you, Mr. Malviya said there may have been a transgression initially.
Okay.
That is true. The meme which came up, there may have been a transgression.
And
There
that
but
led to
later
some
on, we have
technical
corrected it,
problems.
It is under
So-
our control. It's now a technical glitch.
So, Nikhil Pava, there is a possibility that BJP also doesn't know what has happened. That something popped up. There were memes about the Prime Minister and Angela Merkel, and some other messages that were there on the
Yes.
website. Then the website went down, and now it's a technical glitch. Maybe BJP can't figure it out for 3 days. What's gone wrong and what they have lost then?
Well, I wouldn't trust Mr. Malviya when you say that there's no data breach. You just have to go back to the Aadhaar debates, and even though there was unauthorized access to the Aadhaar database, they kept saying that there's no breach. They're saying it in the Supreme Court as well. We can't really trust these guys on that aspect. But I will say that, because the meme was put up, because there has clearly been some sort of a compromise. We don't know the extent of the compromise. We should have transparency from them if they have user data, which they clearly do. And just a statement saying that there has been no breach is not something that you can trust a BJP person on, because they've lied about the access to the database through many years now. So to the Aadhaar database. So I think there should be some independent checks done by security researchers. And we've seen political parties getting compromised in the past as well. If you remember, Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account was compromised, and so were multiple INC India accounts. The BJP has a very competent technical team. I can assure you of that. The fact that they have not been able to put the site up again is something that is very, very worrying. There has to be something very serious for this competent a team to not be able to get it up and running.
Yes, and last question to Ritesh Bhatia. Ritesh, I'm in the beginning. I mentioned that just recently, and you were there for that conversation about what Alt News did, their investigation, and how it showed that they could get into Google documents that are being shared on a large basis by the party and its supporters, change it and get out, which is again raising a question on their own, digital security. Should I, as a citizen, be concerned, because this is a party that is also looking at a significant digital program which goes from all the way from Aadhaar to digital India and online transactions and whatnot. And if they can't protect their own house, their own web page and their own Google documents, then
Aadhaar into it. Aadhaar is very secure. It has a 13-day security code.
Correct.
You don't confuse Aadhaar is a separate issue. This is a party website.
There is a 13-foot ball
Please don't bring
also
Aadhaar
around
into
their
it. Yeah.
database.
Don't do agenda. Don't do agenda, please.
Aadhaar is not an agenda.
mat kijiye.
I mean, it is
Don't
an
bring Aadhaar
agenda
into
because
it.
we would want to bring the truth to the people. But the fact that it may not be foolproof is not an agenda. That's a question, legitimate question to ask. Ritesh, your response to what I asked?
No, yeah. So Tanvi, basically, what is the impression that has been set in, like overall, through the Digital India programs and all that, we are a very, very tech savvy party. We are a very tech savvy organization, ready to lead the country even in the digital era and all. Fair enough, But time and again, it's been proved, no, that you are taking up the responsibility, but you're not giving the responsibility to the experts. There are a lot of experts who need to be brought in to handle all these things. So it's very evident from the. He's not in agreement with the Aadhaar thing, but look at the Aadhaar ecosystem. Last time only look at what happened about the Indian website, the Indian oil one. What really happened over there? Everything was breached. There were so many other things, even those tweets we were talking about. Definitely, security by design is nothing that they have in mind. I think they are feeling that like the citizens of India and all, they don't understand this much, and we are like really cool about the technology and we know a lot about it. Sorry, that's really not the case.
Well, the entire idea of having this conversation.
Indian issue, there was not a breach. There were no, Tanvi, he's confused. In the Indian issue, there was not a breach. It was just that the people who were authorized to get on the Indian server by username password, they were getting onto the server. There was not a breach of Aadhaar data. I think why they purposely tried to create this myth is beyond me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Abhishek Mishra,
both
Nikhil and Ritesh,
Amit Malviya has cleared a
both
statement.
Nikhil and Ritesh have been part of a series of debates and different kinds of instances that we've discussed related to Aadhaar, and that's not the conversation I want to get into, but they know what they're talking
in the
about.
US, which made Facebook, Google, there has been shut down.
Correct.
Websites have been shut down in the USA, which has given a Facebook, Google. Technology is like that. It happens
So
across the
BJP is
world.
obviously not bigger than that. Completely out of
right.
time. Thank you to all of our panelists for joining us on this conversation. Viewers, here is my point. The idea of this was not just to say, oh, what's wrong with the BJP website and to sit here and mock or highlight their embarrassment. The idea is to tell you that even BJP Twitter handles and website pages are not fully secure. That there may be a security risk to what we are doing online. So as collectively, as citizens of this country, we need to keep up the pressure on the government to ensure that the right kinds of systems are brought into place, whether it is any aspect of Digital India, whether it is any aspect of Aadhaar, whether it is any other online portal, web page, app that the government wants us to use. It is to remind the government that you cannot be complacent about this and turn around and tell us it's all safe, we've all got it under control. If the party cannot get its own web page and its own Google documents in a foolproof manner under control, then there is a cause for concern. That was simply the point of having this conversation. We'll wait and watch how long it takes for the BJP website to return. We move on to debate number 2. And the battle to uphold the freedom of the fourth estate, to report on the truth, to bring out the reality, viewers, has always been a challenging one. Governments of the day, corporates, individual entities, people, powerful people have often attempted to cover up, have often attempted to intimidate journalists, have often successfully managed to even silence a few journalists. But the fact about media and Indian media is that we do not stop. It is the extent to which the attempts are made which is questionable. To what extent are you willing to go to stop the media, to threaten them, to intimidate them, to silence them? And that's the point of the conversation tonight. National Security Act has been used against journalists till now, where one journalist from Manipur is behind bars and will be there for a year without a fair trial. The sedition law has often been slapped against those critical of those in power. And now it is the Official Secrets Act. Yes. Official Secrets Act was cited by the government lawyer, by the Attorney General himself in the Supreme Court yesterday while he was making his arguments for the Rafale deal. And first he claimed that the Rafale deal documents, highly secret, sensitive documents from the Defense Ministry were stolen. And then he went on to say that government may seek action and want action under the Official Secrets Act. The act, like the NSA and sedition, that I believe should have been repealed a long time ago, has no place in our democracy. or at least it shouldn't be used when it comes to the media. But if that was the case, viewers, you wouldn't know about the Bofors scandal. You wouldn't know about the coal scam, the 2G scam, the coffin scandal, the CWG scam, the Vyapam scam, and the countless more controversies and scams that have come out in the last several decades. It only happens because you let your media report on the truth. It only happens when you do not question the media's sources. So should the Official Secrets Act really be there in our country, and should it be used against media organizations who report on real deals and the truth? That's the big question. Vivek Reddy, spokesperson for the BJP with us. Sandeep Fukan, deputy editor of The Hindu. Geeta Luthra, senior advocate of Supreme Court. Always a pleasure to have us. Sanjeev Srivastava, senior journalist and member of the Editors Guild of India, also with us. And Sanjeev, I'm going to start with you because Editors Guild came out with a very clear and very strong statement urging the government from refraining of, resorting to such kind of tactics. This is a big concern, what was said yesterday.
Oh, yes, and the Editors Guild mailbox, because frankly, since yesterday late afternoon, there was about 50 odd editors from the Editors Guild, and I think the opinion was unanimous that the guild should stand up and stand up before it is too late, because some of the one suggestion coming from one particular editor, and I won't like to name him, boss, is that, see, nothing has happened, and even the Attorney General has clarified that they don't intend taking any action against Mr. N. Ram or any other journalist or media house. But most 99.9% of the editors were of the opinion that this needs to be tackled now, this needs to be protested against now, this tendency needs to be condemned now, even if it is a little too early, even while AG has clarified, because these are not good symptoms. And in any case, this government has really not covered itself with glory as far as press freedom or respecting freedom of expression or respecting media is concerned.
Let me also ask Mrs. Fukan on it. Mr. Fukan, if we are shown the weapon of Official Secrets Act and indirectly threatened, perhaps you don't even need to take the action or actually file the real FIR. Perhaps you're only hoping that just merely saying it in an open court will get the message across. Then how are we supposed to do our job? How are we supposed to report? A lot of our journalism and investigative journalism depends on what our sources give us.
Absolutely, Tanvi. As Sanjeev was saying, that the intent of the whether or not the Attorney General clarified in court is immaterial. What is material is that the message had to be conveyed, and they conveyed it very clearly. Here is a government that is saying that if you report things that is not to our liking, then there is enough ammunition in terms of law, and we will book you under those laws. Never mind that they may have been colonial relics, which have been there for years and years, but the intent was essentially to intimidate you, that do not go any further. And as you rightly said, that if this was the law that was being used against all journalists. And this, by the way, this is not the only government. The Congress, in fact, it's surprising that the BJP at this time would actually rely on the Official Secrets Act, given the fact that how they fought the emergency. The Congress also hasn't had a very glorious past in terms of trying to curb media freedom. Essentially, whoever is in power, all that they want is that they basically want pamphlets to be printed. The moment, your journalists are great friends of the government as long as you keep praising them. The moment you start questioning them, then, you become anti-national, you become, you are dabbling with official secrets and whatnot. But if that were the case, then how, as you rightly pointed out, how would the Bofors scam have come out? For example, it was the same Hindu, same Mr. Ram, who took forward the Bofors scam and relentlessly reported on it. So, and did it not, were those reports not used by the current ministers who were then in the opposition? So, when it suits you, you threaten journalists with these laws, but fact still remains that, the media becomes the whipping boy.
Yes.
If you have to break scams, if you have to investigate, somewhere these leaks will happen. And you may end up violating Official Secrets Act.
Yes, but why do you need an Official Secrets Act in an act, Geeta Luthra, that was actually designed to help the British keep an eye on an India when we were being ruled by them?
That's absolutely right. In fact,
in any case, Tanvi, I think the Right to Information Act has...
I think the year 1904, during...
Go ahead, Ms. Luthra. I'll go back to
sorry, came into being at the time when Lord Curzon was there, and thereafter amended in 1923. Now, question is, do you need an Official Secrets Act? And you watered it down incredibly by the Right to Information Act in 2005. You've also brought in Section 8.2, which is what Prashant Bhushan and Mr. Arun Shourie relied on, that 8.2 really takes care of the fact that if something is in public interest, and that's the point Mr. Ram also made, that if it is in public interest, then the Official Secret Act would be overridden. So this is one aspect. The second aspect is, do you need an archaic act like that? Or would you then at least amend it so that it's there only for espionage for foreign countries and is not to be used as a weapon against the press? And that point, I feel, is what has to be looked at. The prosecutions under the Official Secret Act have been very, very few, but they've always been used to muzzle the right to information.
Yes.
And that has been, in the D'Souza papers, in several cases which came up in Delhi, but all of them was to basically muzzle opinion or get a tender for a party which otherwise, if it was in the public domain, may not have been granted to that party.
Right.
So therefore, the official, even in the Thal Hazira project, it was used, the Official Secret Act. So it's been used sparingly, but to muzzle information. And that's why that's why, in fact, the Administrative Reforms Commission has, in fact, the second commission said, repeal this act.
Yes.
But despite that, it does always suit a
Yes.
government in power or a particular dispensation to say, let's not get rid of the act.
Absolutely. In fact, it was in June 2006, I believe, that the second Administrative Reforms Commission made the recommendation that Geeta Luthra was referring to. So, Vivek Reddy, your response to what is being said, was there really a need to invoke or to cite the Official Secrets Act?
Well, I think there are two flip sides to this view, and I would bring in these views as a lawyer, more as a lawyer than as a BJP spokesperson. First of all, the state has a compelling interest in the secrets which are of extremely serious nature, which are of great gravity. The state has a compelling interest in view of larger public interest. What's the compelling interest? That is, the technical details of the weaponry which are to be loaded onto these planes are not something which can be in the public domain and are not something which can go out. So therefore, Official Secrets Act says that wherever secrets pertaining to the Army, Defence, Navy are leaked out, then they are liable for penalties or they are liable for prosecution. What compelling interest the government has to preserve is that if these technical details just flows into public domain, then the enemy has it. And unfortunately, our army men go out and face the enemy, and the enemy has a whole catalogue of the entire armory that we have, and he will be attacked and will be compromised in our defense. So
Okay.
therefore, the Official Secrets Act is relevant to that extent. Section 8.2, which is quoted by one of the panelists, Geeta, I think Section 8.2 has no relevance here because Section 8.2 gives the power to the public authority to decide on revealing information which is not prejudicial to the state interest. Here, neither Mr. Ram or anybody has taken it from a public authority, so therefore you cannot quote Section 8.2 at all. It is not relevant. But the larger interest is this government, the pitch that is being made is this is intimidation. I think we are pressing panic buttons too fast because all the issues that you are raising are now subject matter before the review petition. The government is facing this entire litigation, the barrage of false accusations that are being made by the petitioners. The government is willing to face it. There is no problem at all.
So two
but
aspects
the
there.
information that is
Mr.
leaked,
Reddy.
which ultimately will be
So, Mr.
detrimental
Reddy,
to our boys in defense.
Mr.
I
Reddy,
think this is
please,
important.
I
And
think
as
you are the
journalists,
one who is
we must
creating a
also know that
huge
it is
drama
important. We can't
and
be
fear
freely
about, no, 1 minute please. I think you are the one and not the media which is creating
is
this
it
huge
drama? What
furor
can you
or
say
drama
it's drama?
about you are right now risking the lives of
don't
any
think,
soldiers.
Tanvi, I don't
Nobody
think
is
it
doing
is a
it. I
drama.
don't think Mr. Enram is
Our
actually revealing
information,
the
technical
technical
information
sensitive
going in
details.
public. Is
There
it
are
drama?
no sensitive technical details
Is
about
public
the jet
information. Come on.
that has been
You
put
have to be
out
serious
that
about
may
this.
benefit our enemy rather than our forces. So please do not push that narrative here. That's just ridiculous. Nobody is doing that. And I don't think any
Correct. This
responsible
can't go out
media
in
will
public.
do that.
How can it?
Secondly,
What do you mean ridiculous?
of course it cannot go out in
You
public.
can't be so
How did it go
irresponsible,
out
Tanvi.
in public?
We cannot be so irresponsible.
It has not been
by
printed in
saying
public,
that
so it is
can
not
go
the
out.
media's
So if there is
responsibility.
leakage, you got to
It has
probe.
been leaked. Yes.
You have to find out.
How long ago were these
Well,
media
how do you
reports
trust?
published?
How do you trust
Mr.
the
Reddy,
media?
how long
Can you have
ago-
a blind trust on anybody?
Will you-
Are journalists exempted from Official Secrets Act?
How long ago were
This
these
is a
media
very-
reports
this- I don't
published?
think the stand is
How
very
long ago
responsible
were
at all.
these
You are
media
pertaining
reports
to
published?
the
Yes,
important
yes,
details.
Has the
That
government,
that can be leaked out into the
managed to
public.
find the leak within your own defense ministry? Have you prosecuted that official who leaked it? Before you point fingers at the media,
That is
tell
being
me how have
investigated.
you fixed
That
your
is
own
being
house?
investigated. But that does not mean. But that
No,
does
no,
not
that's
mean that
exactly
can
what
go.
it is. How can
That
you
does not
point
mean it can
fingers
go.
at the
It can't
media
go. That is
that
the more
has
serious
selectively
issue.
only
That is the
revealed
more
information
serious
that
issue.
shows or may raise questions without showing any technical details that may harm our forces or soldiers? So firstly, please don't even try to
selective?
make
What
that allegation.
selective?
Show me
I
the
don't know what
evidence.
selective-
Show me the evidence.
what
How have we
selective
compromised our
information
forces
you're
right
talking
now?
about,
Show me
but
the
I'm
evidence.
really
How have we
appalled
compromised
by
the forces
sort of
right now with
sensitivity
any
you're
of the
expressing
reports?
to this issue.
With sensitive information.
I really don't
with
know.
sensitive information.
I really
Show me
don't
the
know,
evidence.
Tanvi,
Show
how
me the
you
evidence.
can be so
Show me the
irresponsible
evidence.
about such a
Mr.
such
Reddy, you are a
important
lawyer.
material.
You
We
know
may be
how cases
journalists,
are made
I
and
may be an
built.
advocate. Anybody can be from any other profession.
Yes.
But we have a sanctity.
I have a
secret
copy.
defense
I have a
material
copy of
that
the
can't go out
first
in the
Hindu
public.
report
And we have to be
the second
responsible.
Hindu report
You
and
have
the
also- you
subsequent
also owe
ANI report
responsibility
that
to
came
this
out with the
nation's
entire
defense.
document. Vivek Reddy, show me the evidence that shows that sensitive technical details were put in public domain
Madam,
that put
let
the
me tell
forces
you-
at risk.
Let me tell you
Show me the evidence.
all these details. I really don't know.
Why?
I really
The
don't
details
know
are
the
already
sort of
in the
point that
public
you're
domain.
making. Are
The
you
Hindu has
saying by
published 2 of
implication
these
that
reports.
all this can
ANI
flow
has
out to the
published
enemy?
1 report. What are you
This
saying?
can go out to the enemy?
What has gone out to the enemy? Exactly what I'm asking you.
On that, the Supreme Court
What
is
has gone
there.
out to
We
the
are
enemy?
On no. There are 2 aspects to this.
What has gone out to the
If
enemy?
you are going
Let
to
me go
question
back
the
to
merits
Sandeep
of the
Fukan.
decision-making, that
Mr.
is before the
Fukan,
Supreme Court in the review petition.
to this
That is before-
allegation
please
that
hold
is
on.
being made,
Just listen
because
to me,
it is
Tanvi.
made
You raised
repeatedly.
the question, you have to
I'm
listen to
sorry,
me.
Mr.
Please.
Reddy.
Yes, this is an allegation that is being made
No,
repeatedly
you are-
by BJP and
there
its
is-
supporters.
There is an allegation
Well, just
that
you have
sensitive
made an
information has been
allegation
put out in the public
that
domain.
is there before the Supreme
Sandeep
Court.
Fukan,
That is
can you
being
please
adjudicated before the Supreme Court.
tell
That
our
sensitive
viewers
material,
and the
are you
BJP
saying
spokesperson
that
here,
sensitive
what is
material
it
can
that you
go
put out in the public
Well,
domain? He
that
may
is
have
not-
forgotten
that is not
about
right.
it.
Well, just to put this in perspective,
We have not put out any
Tanvi, I
sensitive
think the
details in
entire
public domain.
Rafale
Tanvi,
debate
please.
has been in the public domain for almost a year now. And the issue has never been about what weaponry these aircraft will carry. The issue has always been how did the cost of a Rafale aircraft go up from what the Congress claims 3 times. In fact, if you recall, the initial line of attack from the Congress party was that when we were purchasing it, it was some 600 odd crores and it has gone up to 1600 odd crores. How did you have such a huge jump? What explains this jump? Now, obviously, that was the Congress line of attack. The government said that even the price was classified information. If you recall, there have been several debates, but in one of the debates, to my mind, the last debate that took place in Lok Sabha, during that debate, Finance Minister himself revealed that the entire size of the deal was 59,000 crores. Now, if you divide that by 36, that's the order, so then it comes to 1611 crores. In any case, even during that debate, Nirmala Sitharaman, the defense minister, she put up the government's defense. She spoke eloquently for over close to 2 hours. I covered that debate as a Lok Sabha correspondent, and I recall that she never used that those documents were stolen. She said that it's only half the story that has come out. Remember, Mr. N. Ram's first story had already come out. So these files being stolen seems to have been an afterthought in court. And remember the context that this report, Mr. Ram has contended that this report or the findings of the news report that has come out, these are the findings or notings of the Indian negotiation team that was not part of the documents that were submitted to the Supreme Court, and that is why several lawyers, including Prashant Bhushan and Arun Shourie, a former union minister, went to the court saying that they should
very fact
consider.
Mr. Emram is saying that he cannot divulge his sources.
Yes, please, sir.
Shows that there is access to information. The very fact that Mr. Enram says that he will not divulge these sources.
Sir, no journalist worth his salt
will ever divulge their sources. No journalist worth their salt will ever do that.
My only, if you have,
nobody can force me to divulge my source. I am sorry.
My only question is,
okay, I have to go to 2 more panelists. I have to go to 2 more panelists. Sanjeev, I see your hand. I'll come back to you in just a bit, Sanjeev Srivastava. Sorry, very quickly, Geeta Luthra first, please, on the legal aspect, and then I will go across to Sanjeev Srivastava for sure. Yes, Geeta Luthra, go ahead, please.
There's a very recent judgment. I think one of the members of the bench was Justice Sikri, where they said that the court will never ask them to disclose the name of the whistleblower and will protect the source of the whistleblower. So this is one aspect. The second aspect is you are questioning the decision-making process. You are not looking at the technicalities. Neither would a journalist look at it, nor would the court look at it. So it is basically to strike an incorrect chord and to make an argument which is emotive and which is incorrect, just to say that, look, you're compromising the security of the country. You are not. Firstly, this is a question with regard to whether there has been corruption and whether the decision-making process is correct and whether there has been proper disclosure to the court. All these aspects are not covered, and therefore to refer either to the Official Secret Act or the security of the country would not be relevant to the argument and the debate before the court.
Yes.
Before the court, you have to satisfy the court, has the government placed all the relevant material before the court? And the government itself has said that there was one aspect with regard to the CAG report that was erroneously put. And that's a very important aspect too. So that's what you need to look at.
Absolutely.
You have
and
to
the fact
see
that
public domain
nobody is
with
right
regard
now
to what is in public
and
interest.
we are willing to face that scrutiny.
Absolutely. Right now, nobody is looking at the technical aspects and the specifications and the weapons that the Rafale jet comes out with. That is not our expertise.
Scrutinizing it.
Well, we will see what documents get presented before the court, and if the court actually gets all the documents from the government this time to scrutinize. Sanjeev Srivastava, running out of time, but you had a point to make. The last word to you, Sanjeev.
Okay, just very quickly. No journalist can be forced to disclose his or her source. Official Secrets Act in this case, I think, was completely misplaced. And these kind of acts cannot be imposed on journalists or media houses. But the final thing which I really wanted to say was that I think the government was raising this issue, Attorney General, etc., as a trial balloon. I think they have seen the ferocity of the reaction from the media, from Editors Guild, and from journalist groups. So I think they'll make a retreat. I don't think we'll hear much more of this, whatever Mr. Reddy may think, because I think the government is sitting pretty, if you may, with the narrative which is currently there of patriotism and Pakistan bashing and all that. Why would they really, for heaven's sake, try and shift the focus and change the narrative in which they'll be on the back foot by bringing this issue of press freedom, that this government is against press freedom? So I think even politically, it makes very little sense, whatever their intention is, that they'll really get themselves boxed into a corner ahead of an election if they try and push this agenda at all.
Absolutely. Well, election or not, I don't think any government should attempt to do that and use these kinds of laws and weapons to threaten or intimidate the media. I'm going to thank my panelists at this point of time. But just a reminder for our viewers, in the early 90s, when the Bofors scam exploded, it was because a set of documents were leaked and given to journalists who investigated, dug through it and brought out the details. It was the scam of the decade. Changed the entire narrative at that point of time. And it is because journalists didn't really reveal their sources, but they dug in deeper. And when they accessed these documents, they knew exactly what had to be published to show you that something wrong had happened, not to put your own country at risk. I remember when the 2G scam broke out. And these documents, if we access these documents, even at that time, you could see in these file notings how the changes and decisions were made, who noted what on that file. That's accountability, to know who changed the deal, who did it to benefit whom, what is the nexus and what is the kind of corruption that is going on between the political class and the corporates. The citizens of this country deserve to know that. And it is the responsibility of the media to do that. So for every time that you complain about the media and the negative aspect of the media, think about the time when you yourself try to clamp down on the freedom of expression for media, when you yourself try to threaten and silence journalists who are actually genuinely trying to do some good work and serve the nation. Think about it. Like Sanjeev Srivastava said, this time the government may not go ahead, but it's really futile to even think that you can silence or threaten the media of this country. Thank you so much for joining us.